Good morning, students. Welcome to the online classes. Today we'll read the first lesson of our main textbook, Flamingos, that is the last lesson written by Alphonse Daudet, a French writer. The story is narrated by school-going children of France who sees his nation changing and the behavior and attitude of his teacher changing, and his teacher is M. Mr. M. Hamel, and the narrator is Franz, not Alfonso Daudet, the writer. And the setting and location of the story is France, and the year is 1870-71 during the Franco-Prussian War. Now let's read the lead-in or the pre-reading introductory passage. Alphonse Daudet, born in 1848 and died in 1897, was a French novelist and short story writer. The last lesson is set in the days of Franco-Prussian War, 1870 to 1871, in which France was defeated by Prussia, led by Ottoman von Bismarck. Prussia then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. In the story of the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine have passed into Prussian hands. Read the story to find out what effect this had on life at school. So from this introduction, we can guess that the story, the setting of the story, the location of the story is in some part of Alsace and Lorraine, which is occupied by the Prussian army, that is the German army. So let's begin. I started for school, that means Franz started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of a scolding. Dread means fear of scolding, especially because M. Hamel had said that he would question us on participles. So the narrator was afraid of attending the school because he had a fear that his teacher, Mr. M. Hamel, might ask him some questions related to the grammar portion, that is participles. Now continue. And I did not know the first word about them, and he knew nothing about participles. For a moment I thought of running away and spending the day out of doors. It was so warm, so bright. The birds were chirping at the edge of woods. In the open field back of the sawmill, the Prussian soldiers were drilling. It was all much more tempting than the rule for participles, but I had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. So what happens? Franz was afraid because he hadn't prepared well for the grammar portion, which was to be tested or asked by his teacher. And second thing, that he was tempted to remain in nature because he could see the chirping of birds and the Prussian army marching, and those things interested him more than the grammar portion. When I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. For the last 2 years, all our bad news had come from there. So bulletin board was something where news related to the nation, related to the war, was posted, and people had always been there to get their news or get updated, and all news given to them were bad news about some kind of defeat from the Prussian army. Then as I hurried by as fast as I could go, the blacksmith master, who was there with his apprentice reading the bulletin, called after me, "Don't go so fast, Bob. You'll get to your school in plenty of time." So when Franz was going to his school, two people, one is a blacksmith and another his apprentice. Apprentice means a person who is paid less and is learning something under someone. They passed a comment for French, saying Bob. Bob means a boy in a non-standard language. Maybe pony, as they are passing comment. You'll get to your school in plenty of time. They are saying that you have uh, much time, you have lot time. So why are you hurrying to school? Wait few more time and then go to school. I thought he was making fun of me and reached M. Hamel's little garden all out of breath. And Franz could understand their fun, that they were passing a comment. Anyway, he reached the school quickly. Then usually when school began, there was a great bustle. Bustle means pushing others and entering somewhere, which could be hard out in the street. The opening and closing of desks. So in normal days, when school uh, ran smoothly, uh, the noise reached to the streets. That is, setting the classroom desks, arranging all these things, lessons repeated in unison. Unison means all together at a time, very loud, with our hands over our ears to understand better. And the teacher's great ruler rapping on the table, that means hitting on the table. But now it was all so still. But this day, this particular day, there was stillness, calmness, and those things couldn't be heard. I had counted on the commotion. Counted on the commotion means take help of something. That is called counted on. On those days, though, whenever he was late, he took the benefit of this commotion or this bustle or small kind of um, nuisance talks uh, to get to my desk without being seen. So, on normal days, there was always a bustle, there was a commotion, that is hullabaloo, that is loud talks he used to reach his desk without being seen. But of course, that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. But on that particular day, it seemed as if there were no class. The school was off because all the students were sitting silently. Though, sorry, through the window I saw my classmates already in their places, and M. Hamel walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. I had to open the door and go in before everybody. So that day he couldn't count on or took the benefit of the um, uh, crowded class and the bustle and the commotion. And he was, as he was late, he had to enter the class, taking the permission of his teacher. You can imagine how I blushed and how frightened I was. He was blushed, that means his cheeks were torn pink in color out of fear, but nothing happened. Mr. Hamel saw me and said very kindly, "Go to your place quickly, little French. We were beginning without you." But this particular day, something unexpected happens. M. Hamel, who is known to scold the students, didn't scold Franz at all. Rather, he kindly asked Franz to take his seat. I jumped over the bench and sat down at my desk. Not till then, when I had got a little over my fright, did I see that our teacher had on his beautiful green coat. His frilled shirt and the little black silk cap, all embroidered. That day he never wore except on inspection and prize days. So M. Hamel was on unusual dress, wearing some kind of special dress. Besides, the whole school seemed so strange and solemn. Solemn means serious. But the thing that surprised me most was to see on the back benches that were always empty, the village people sitting quietly, like ourselves. The village people old houser with his three-corner hat, the former mayor, the former postmaster, and several other besides. Everybody looked sad, and Hauser had brought an old primer, thumbed at the edges, and he held it open on his knees with his great spectacles lying across the pages. So primer means a book for those people, those students who learn for the first time. That is the basics or books of alphabet. That is primer. So he had carried all these things. So what is unusual on that day? This may be asked in the questions. That the classroom was silent, no bustling, no commotion. Everybody was in time. M. Hamel didn't overreact to late entry by Franz the students. Rather, he asked him to politely to sit or take his seat. Uh, and M. Hamel himself was wearing unusual kind of dress, with unusual kind of hat, a green colored his shirt, everything. And most importantly, the village people were sitting calmly in the last benches. With this, we conclude today's class. From the next day, from tomorrow onwards, we'll proceed to the next part of the story. Thank you for today.